wanted to prove once and for all that elections do have consequences, you can just look at President Obama's recent appointment of Sotomayor to the Supreme Court to show what those consequences are. As you probably are well aware by now, Judge Sotomayor has a very interesting background, not the least of which is the fact that as a judge she has said this.
All of the legal defense funds out there, they're looking for people with Court of Appeals experience, because Court of Appeals is where policy is made. And I know this is on tape, and I should never say that.
Now, as you know, of course, the fundamental basis of our rule of government is the fact that courts interpret policy. Courts do not make policy, or at least not in the minds of people who believe in traditional jurisprudence. One of the tactics of the left, as I'm sure you're aware, is the fact that they use the courts in order to shape law and change law in ways that the legislators and the public are not ready for. We've seen that in many instances when it comes to gay marriage in particular. Now, we as Republicans are in an interesting position in the fact that you have certain Republicans who are willing to stand up for what's right and question Judge Sotomayor on her merits and judge her judicial scholarship and her interpretation of the role of a Supreme Court justice. But on the other hand, you have a lot of Republicans out there who are concerned about how this is going to play politically. The concern is that because of the judge's Hispanic background, that she should be treated with kid gloves by the Republican Party because it may hurt us electorally in trying to make gains in the Hispanic community. Well, friends, there is no better reason to not treat somebody with kid gloves than because of anybody's ethnic background or because it may help us score electoral points. We as Republicans, we as conservatives need to expect our senators to stand up for principle regardless of the electoral consequences. I've said it before time, and I said it time and again. If we do not stand up for principles, if we do not put conservative principles first, then why do we care about whether or not the people are going to vote for us? Because at that point, we're nothing more than a fraud foisted upon the public. We need to step up first for conservative principles and then worry about how the electoral math works for us. Time and again, we've seen that when Republicans act like Democrats, that Democrats win every time. President Obama got elected because John McCain acted too much like a liberal Democrat, and the voters selected the genuine article. This is a perfect example as to when Republicans need to stand up and act like Republicans for the good of the country. I'm not saying that Judge Sotomayor may not be voted upon and may not be confirmed with a majority Republican support. But the fact of the matter is Republicans, particularly on the Senate Judiciary Committee, need to do their due diligence. We need to make sure our Republican senators do not shy away from the tough questions just because it may hurt somebody's feelings. We need to make sure that all judges of the Supreme Court understand the rule of law and understand the role of the court. Now, it's to be expected that President Obama would appoint somebody who would not believe in the rule of law and believe that the courts have no policy-making function. We obviously expected President Obama to support an activist court that goes against what our founders intended. But it is the Senate's responsibility to ask the judge the tough questions, regardless of the political consequences. Republicans need to be first worried about governing rather than winning, and that we need to stick to our conservative principles in order to make sure that we can be governed effectively by our Republican leaders.